Hey guys, this is Prashad from Web Coding Tricks channel. Today we will be looking at form validation using jQuery. So there are literally hundreds of ways of doing this. We will be doing simple form validation today with the simple alerts, but I will pay more attention to the jQuery programming thing so you understand what's happening and you get comfortable with the code as part of this ongoing series. So here is our form which we have used earlier for different tutorials, and it have this HTML with this submit button here and full form which goes to page send message, which actually doesn't exist, doesn't do something. That is not important. Where this form goes after submitting, we are just interested at the moment in just filling this form before we can submit it. So if only the required fields are given, then form should go on the next step. So whatever we have right now will work for us. So here's a form, and here's jQuery setup already, and here is the jQuery document.ready function. So let's dive right in. So first of all, we have to stop this form from submitting itself, for which we will have to detect if the submitted button is pressed. For that, we can either uh, put a click function, click um, event handler on this specific button, or we can put the submit um, event handler on form. I will go with the form thing. So in form tag, let's add an ID, anything you like message form. Based on this ID, so when the form is submitted, we pass a function. I want to do certain things. This submit is an event, and let's pass this event to the function which we are passing inside. So e dot prevent default. This prevent default thing means that for example, this is a form, and the default behavior of form when we hit the submit button is to submit itself. So when on submit, when we pass an event to it and say prevent default, then its default behavior is prevented, so that this form will not submit it. So let's try this. So now pressing the submit button, nothing will happen, but we don't want this. We want this only in case if the required fields are not filled. So for now, let's assume that first name is our required field. So what we will do, we will first set a flag, which is let's say variable uh, submit it. So a variable submit equals true, and now on prevent default, we will say it like only prevent the default behavior, which is submitting the form, if the submit is equal to false. Now in this case, let's just try it. This is submitting the form because we had uh, set it to true, and we are only preventing it when it's false. So let's assume that the first name is our required field. So here inside this, we'll check if, again we will reference with id here fn. If jQuery first name variable val equals empty string, then what it have to do, it have to alert the user that please enter our first name is required, and if it is empty, then we will also set the submit to false, so that this form can be prevented from submitting. So let's try it. Here it is, the value of first name is empty, so it's not submitted. Okay, I when I give something like my name and submit, it will submit. But I don't want this. I want to put the validation on almost all the fields, and that may be the requirement, or at least some of the fields. So let's do it. Like, let's copy this code here, and last name, I had same ID for last name, and then we will keep checking about email. For email, let's put just simple, again calling it by ID, simple empty check for here. Okay, here we have to change the text. Let's try it. The first three fields are required. Okay, first one have the value, so it will prompt me for the last name and email. So let's give it last name and email, so anything. Sorry.com. Now, in fact we put something in email, it will still submit. So we don't want that. We don't want the user to enter the valid email. So here we have checked that email field is not empty. Let's do something else. Let's, in addition to this, let's you may have idea of regular expressions. Regular expressions are the strings um, which are the pattern of something. For example, the regular expression for email will just tell the program that it should have some text and then add sign and then again some text and then dot and then something like com net. So uh, we will use regular expression here. You can search online for the regular expression of email. I have already searched it and saved it here. This is in fact the pattern of email. So in jQuery, you will define a new variable pattern of type new regular expression. Here it goes. Now you will test. Now if um, this thing, the value of email field dot test for this pattern object. Uh, okay, in fact I'm doing it wrong. The value will go here and pattern dot test. So this pattern dot test will return true or false based on if it is a valid email or not. So if it is a valid, okay, let's do it like if it is false, then prompt the user that your email is not valid. Okay, it is just telling the user that email is not valid. Oh, it submitted itself. That is because we did not set the submit equals false here. So your email is not valid and here it stops. But if I give it like sh@site.com, it looks like a valid email, so it will submit. But again, there is a problem with this. If I don't have value in all three, and when I will press this submit, then it will show all three problems. So for that we have a solution. What we can do is instead of this alert, make a variable error messages, and every time when something is wrong, we append the string to this, like backslash n for the new line, so the next message goes on the new line. Similarly here, and here, like last name, then email is required, then your email is not valid. Again, do some your email is not valid. So and if it is false, till here we have in this case we have do not have um, shown any message till here. So if any of them is not um, any of these conditions is not met, what we will do, we will alert it inside the check of submit is equal to false error message, and this, instead of showing us many pop-ups, this will show just one. Oh, something wrong again happened. Uh, okay, all the messages are no on single pop-up. So if you have fulfilled something like first name and the last name, then only two messages are popping here in single pop-up. So with the basic structure setup, uh, we can go forward with the other fields, like after testing the email pattern, uh, everything have to be done before this thing, because this comes at the end and it checks if the conditions are required fields are not given, then it prevents the form from submitting. I guess I have said that too many times. Okay, next. Favorite color. We can do same with favorite color. Need to check this. Yeah. No, no, no. Its ID is fc.12, and then favorite color is required. And it will pretty much work same for the other fields. So let's jump to the password. ID for password is pass. The confirm password is confirm pass. So we can quickly this password is required. Confirm password is required, and in fact both should have the same value. In case if it is a what you can say, the sign up form. So that would be like confirm pass. Your message will be different. Value in password and confirm password must match. Now let's see. Let's try to submit this form, and we have all the error messages here, and let's provide some info for like something. Date of birth. So we don't have this as required field. And password, let's give 1 2. Okay, only the errors are 2. Email is not valid. The value is in password and confirm password must match. So so now everything matches. Okay. Confirm. So you can do the validation on this box with the same dot val, but for this checkbox there's a different way. This checkbox you will do like, let's go and check its ID. Its ID is terms. So if you want it to be checked always, then if terms dot is checked equals false, then do the same thing. You must agree with terms Okay, let's give something to the password. Then again confirm password and check this, and now this form will go through. Something is again wrong. So in fact we have to do this. If the values do not match, then give that a, let's refresh it, give these values, submit, it will go through. So this is one simple example of jQuery form validation. In coming days we will come with we will look on more fancy ways, and I guess I have to do couple of more tutorials on validation. So we can not only go for the fancy looking validation, but the validation on each field as we fill in. So uh, if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe, and these tutorials will keep coming. Also, soon I will be putting the source code online, and will be linking it to the description.